Hello and welcome to Geekatplay Studio Tutorials. In this tutorials, we'll look on some controls. Controls, it's options that allowed us to provide some control to the user from our filter that we're creating, or just help us to clean up some stuff that we're creating. As example, let's go ahead and create this gradient. In a gradient, you notice we have the green, which represent mapped input, but right here we also have a gray color that is representing control inputs. Okay, and this is a set of controls that help us to actually modifying. Again, these controls, when we're creating one of them, and as example, let's just placing. Okay, and you notice we have a warning on this one, so we'll just select right here. Okay, and when we're going to create this, we'll save. Right here, you will notice those components or colors that we created. Now they're available in a user-defined control area. So it's meaning when we go to add them, they will help us to provide better control for the users in a range we wanted. So right here, we have one component controls that we call angles, and this will provide the values from the 0 to 360 degrees for our angle. So we can connect to rotate, and you notice when you connect, sometimes the exclamation mark appear. It's meaning that the control is not in actual right. He is explained it's not best way to control that input. However, it will allow you to use this control. It just tell you that is not best way to do it. When you add control, also you can modify the name, and this is name which will display in area. As well, you can preset default value. So this is value that will be preset in a time when filter open before any other presets is saved. So you can set your initial kind of value for this. As well, on this one, you're using the use remapping option. So when you enable remapping more option right here, you will notice now you have it additional block that you can click, and it's allowed you to remap your values. So for example, right here, my values, I can modify it and this pass directly right in my image. So right in this one, I can say what is a maximum and minimum source and target I can specify. So let's say my source is from 0 to 100 and my target from 50 to maybe 65. So I have a limitation. So from that point, right, this, if I'm going inside and I modify those values, my values will be set in that target area right here. So let's go set up a 77 example, and you can see it will be start remapping two different values from that. Okay, let me see, it's this one actually. So let's go to 55, and you can see the value was remapped in change based on whatever I specified this point. So let's go ahead and type, for example, 78, and you can see how the value change again based on a remapping. Remapping can apply it to any control almost, so you can create and, for example, in degrees, okay, right here it's a bit different, so you can set some other limitation. Okay, so we have an angle right here that we created. We also have a just simple checkbox, which is on off option. We have a color pick, which allowed for the user to select their own colors. And again, we can, let's select, for example, let's go ahead, just delete this one. We can create one color right here. And if we're going, you notice right here we have colors. The user can go ahead and change colors by default. Okay, but again, this is color that you're selecting right now. This is color will be default color for the filter. So if you want work, be sure you're going inside and you maybe predefine different colors that you want to be accessible at that point. Okay, next we have it one slider, and we have it actually two sliders. So let's look what is the difference between these two sliders. Okay, the one thing you will notice, the integer slider will have its value set with the integer number. For example, if you have a switch or you have another one, when you want to set values, you want to apply with integer where you can set currently value and maximum value. For example, and when we have it 7 components, so we can set 7 maximum. In this case, this slider will apply only from 1 till 7. Okay, so you have a limitation. However, the other normal slider will apply from 0 to 100 value. In many cases, it's kind of universal. It can be applied to the just normal value or percent value or other things. So it is a little bit more flexible if you're using with adjusting maybe a position or other things. You want to use this. If you're using with a switch or any one preset value, you probably want to use the integer type of the slider. Okay, and next we have an input box with a value. Okay, and that one, let's just connect them. Okay, and you notice right here for our normal integer and normal slider, it's no warnings. But if we're using other value, it's giving us a warning on, because it's a kind of expecting different type of the value input. But in this case, we have it not integer, so we can have a decimal point of the value input if we're using the just normal. And in this case, we have it kind of preset, so we don't have a decimal input on this. Okay, so let's remove this one. Again, right here we created, and you can see right here we created position for one, which we provided outside the filter editor options to modify it. We have other position that we kind of lock, and we have an option for the color change. Okay, in many ways, when we start creating different type of the filter, for example, right here, create one, you can notice it's have different options that provided as well. I'm gone and I renamed them, so it's a little bit more defined for the people to know what they try to do, not necessarily what they're doing inside the editor, because I look on this as a filter, arts filter, so this is more what effect it's kind of achieving. So example, if I use it right here, sponge or outliner, for example, you can see how it's add in. Even if we're going inside the filter, you will notice at this point right here, they're just using a little bit different. So the sponge details is actually a scale, another one. So overall, if you start creating those custom controls, and I recommend you to do give them more semantic type naming instead of precise. Okay, and same like right here, for example, photo paper, we have a little bit more different type of the settings was applied, or even on generated. On this case, you can see we have multiple different colors customer users can modify it custom, as well as the additional options for all this effect. Okay, thank you for watching these tutorials from Geekatplay Studio. And this tutorial, we kind of finished looking on all these components that we have it. In next tutorials, we'll look more how to create filters, and please check those section of our tutorials.